prioritize. From a medical perspective, we call it the equivalent of a triage. So when you triage your prospects, you literally put them in order of priority. Which one is the hottest? Which one is the warmest? Which one is the coldest? And you take action according to to your triage procedure. But these are modular skill sets. Okay, it's like imagine you are looking at a microscope. Everybody has had experience looking at a microscope in school, right? So imagine when you look at a microscope and you zoom in closer and closer to the slides. Does everybody has experience looking at a microscope in school before?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Rajiv has just reminded me something very important. I keep forgetting to record sessions. I have to start that now. Okay, thank you for the reminder. Now, when you look at a microscope, you zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and you see greater and greater detail. And you also notice one thing. You sometimes zoom in so much that you lost track of which part of the slide you're looking at. Okay? You can be so focused. You can be so focused and so targeted that you may actually lose track of your original objective. Just like when you are on a microscope, you keep zooming in, you keep focusing greater and greater detail. So much detail that you lost track of the overall picture. And that can happen. In the same way, with the Kangen Express, we talk about skill sets and all these things. You can zoom in so much, you can focus so much into details that you lost track of your overall picture, overall concept. So never lose track of your overall picture. And there is a saying, that the zooming in of the details is actually called reductionism. Okay? Reductionism means that you are going into the details. It's like you approach a forest, because you're looking for a particular tree. And you go so deep into the forest that you lost track of where you are in the forest. So this is reductionism. This is science. This is what science do to us. We keep analyzing in greater and greater detail, and sometimes we lose track of where we are. This can happen in all aspects of your life, not just in science. So in the Kangen business, you also have to sometimes pull yourself back and analyze where you are in the overall scheme of things. You don't want to be focusing so much into the details that you lost track of what your overall objectives are. And so this is what I mean when you look at skill sets. Do not let your skill sets training overpower you so that you lose track of where you're heading. Okay? So, always keep track of where you are in the overall scheme of things. Don't zoom in so much. That that you lose track of where you are in the overall picture. Don't target a tree so much that you lost track of where in the forest you are. And that is easier said than done, because this is like a boiling frog syndrome. Everybody is aware of a boiling frog syndrome? Does everybody know what is the meaning of a boiling frog syndrome? I can't hear you, Sunita. If you're in a quiet room, please on your microphone so it's easier for us to communicate.
I said no. No, sir.
You know what happens? A boiling frog syndrome is a common term we use that, you're dead before you realize it. You see, a frog has got very sensitive temperature sensors on its skin. So if you put a frog in a pot of water and you slowly turn the temperature up, the skin of the frog, the temperature sensors, it will try to compensate. It compensates as the temperature keeps going up, it keeps compensating. It doesn't realize it until it becomes cooked. It's too late. So this is called a boiling frog syndrome. In the same way, what we do, with our business can also lead to boiling frog syndrome. We become, and why that happens is that because we all tend to feel comfortable with our comfort zone. We don't want to get out of our comfort zone, because getting out of the comfort zone means more stress. It means, feeling less comfortable, because you're going to do something, you're going to change something. What was the most, can somebody type in if you know this? What was the, one of the famous quote by Winston Churchill regarding change? Anybody know here? Type it in if you know that quote, as you understand it.
Be the change you want to know, see in others, right? Something like that.
Change is constant is a good quote, but that's not what Winston Churchill says. Winston Churchill said that to improve is to change. Okay?
Yeah, it's something like be the change you want to see in others.
To be perfect, you need to change often.
Yes. Adaptable.
So, you change is good, is to improve. But you want to be more than improve, you need to change often. Okay? So, we tend to stay away from getting out of our comfort zone. It's human nature. Don't blame yourself. But the first step in everything else, as I said in the Kangen Express training, is, from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence and to unconscious competence. The first step is you must get out of the unconscious incompetence. You don't even realize you're incompetent. And if that happens, then you end up in a boiling frog syndrome. You get cooked before you even realize it. Okay? So, going back to the original topic on reductionism versus holism. A holistic approach is essential. You need to understand where you are in the overall picture. But in order to improve, you need to implement reductionism. So when you look through a microscope, it's not good enough that you keep zooming and zooming and look at greater detail in the microscope. You need to understand which part of the microscope slide you are looking at. Are you looking at the center? Are you looking at to the left, to the right, to the top, or to the bottom? And only then you can have a better appreciation of where you are, which part of the slide you're looking at. So, in the context of Kangen Express. To improve, you need the skill sets. You need to zoom into the skill set details. But you must not lose track of the skill set. What role does the skill set play in the context of the whole Kangen Express program or system? Okay. Does everybody get that part of it, or we're still struggling? Come on, guys, I need participation here. Type in a message to tell us whether you are getting, one of the Kangen Express training I did is, it is not what you say or how your audience understand you that matters. So now I'm asking you that it is not what I say, but how you understand that matters. I'm making sure you understand. Okay, so did you get what I mean by? Sorry, Nikhil was saying something. Okay. You need.
I think you need to unmute.
To improve.
There's a background noise coming in.
Right. You need reductionism to improve, but you need to keep track of where you are from a holistic standpoint. You must not lose track of the overall picture. Does everybody understand this part? Yeah? So, when you look into skill set training, the leaders implement skill sets. Never lose track of where you are in the overall concept, the overall picture, the overall strategy. And this is why when I do the Kangen Express core module, I sometimes repeat the first few slides, because that is to give you a better perspective of where you are in the overall picture. I don't go into the details that you lose track of where you are. So first of all, you need to keep track of where you are with a satellite image. Otherwise, you will find the tree you're looking for, but lost track of where you are in the forest. Everybody understand that? Yes? Okay. Now, I'm going to go into the next item that I want to share with you today. Does anybody know what India's performance was last 2 months? Last 2 months mean not including August. Let's say June and July. Does anybody have the sales volume for Enagic India? Anyone?
5,000, around 5,000.
Oh, it was 4,000. 3,700 or so.
Okay. Rajiv is correct. It's about 4,000 for June. Okay. And I believe that July is not far off. Who can tell me what was the volume that India was doing before lockdown?
2,200.
How much? Type it in.
2,200 something.
Okay, 2,000 plus.
Yeah.
Now tell me what happened during lockdown. You can't even deliver machines, but sales went up double. You want to tell me why? Why is this?
The awareness and the focus on health has improved, has increased.
Okay, that's one point. What else?
Business. Because many people has lost their job and they find the opportunity of business in this.
Okay, that's also a valid point. What else?
There's, I think, a different angle to it. Because of non-delivery, maybe the 2 months thing is in 1 month, right?
No, that's not true.
Delivery is possible.
It's possible, but it's not likely.
Yeah, because,
let me share with you a perspective today. Okay? Before lockdown, everybody was looking at Indian market as 1 billion potential. Correct or not? You're looking at a 1 billion potential before lockdown. What happened during lockdown? Everybody's gone on Zoom. Correct or not?
Yeah.
The minute you go on Zoom, you increase your market potential from 1 billion in India to 8 billion because it becomes truly global. Get my point? Yeah. Does everybody get that? The minute you go from a conventional business to a fully online business, you go from a 1 billion potential market to 8 billion because it is a global market you're targeting. For some people in India, like in Mumbai, they are still looking at Mumbai as a Mumbai market. You might be looking at 50 million market. When Zoom happened, it went from 50 million to 1 billion because they now don't have to travel from Mumbai to Cochin, Mumbai to Delhi, Mumbai to Kolkata. The whole India becomes their market. So they increase their market potential by between 10 to 1,000 times more. So let me tell you this. Imagine India went from 2,000 plus machines to 4,000 plus machines. That is just the beginning. It's going to go higher. You remember that some time back, this was like maybe 2 years ago or longer, I was telling everyone, well, not everyone here would have heard that, but I know that Rajiv and a few other that has been on the team for longer would have heard me saying that India has a potential of 10,000 units a month. Oh. And Rajiv, that must have sounded a bit skeptical at that time. Yeah?
Yeah.
So I think Rajiv, at that time, he must be like, oh, he's crazy. How can we do 10,000 a month? You see where I'm getting on now, yeah? That India can jump from 2,000 units a month to 4,000 in the next month. Just because we converted from a conventional business approach to a Zoom online approach. Now, for the majority of the people, we're just taking it from an Indian district to pan-India. Now, try taking it to a global market. And you will find that 4,000 plus becomes 9,000, 10,000 as a clear possibility. Ajay, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Did you get what I said about your instant increase of market size? So, Ajay, are you now in Himachal or are you in Mumbai?
I'm in Mumbai.
You're in Mumbai, okay. So Mumbai population is what, about 50 million? Is that correct?
I think it's maybe double of Malaysia or maybe triple of Singapore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking at maybe 60, 70 million population.
Yeah.
Okay. So before this, everybody in Mumbai was looking at Mumbai and nearby areas. Let's put a nice round figure of 100 million market potential. Because everyone who contacts me from India says, I would like to be a distributor in Mumbai. I would like to be a distributor in Maharashtra. I would like to be a distributor in Kerala. They don't talk about being a distributor in the whole of India. This is how they've been thinking. And suddenly Zoom brings them from Maharashtra to the whole of India. They increase from 100 million to 1 billion market size. And this is how you are able to get double the number of volumes even though it is a lockdown situation. Imagine if there was no lockdown. Imagine if there was no lockdown with the same process of converting to Zoom, that 2,000 plus units will end up with 10,000 easily.
In fact, Dr. Phil, I would just like to add that yesterday only I started going global. I was attempting to connect to my friends who are staying in Canada, US, and UK and all. I've already started working on that.
Very good. So you've gone from, many people here have gone from unconscious incompetence to realizing that you can explode to a global market. So you've gone from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence and conscious competence. And now with a lot of practice, with a lot of momentum, you will go into the fourth level of unconscious incompetence. It becomes second nature to you. You do not think about Mumbai market, you do not think about India market anymore. You think of the global market instantly, immediately. So how many here are now looking at, when they talk about Kangen business, the first thought is global market rather than Indian market, Malaysia market, New Zealand market, and so on and so forth. Are we at the unconscious competence level that the first thought you think about is global, not just your vicinity, your area? Okay, so it is time that you wake up to the fact, realize that we are now truly in the global economy. Previously, it was just a term, global economy. It's a concept. Previously, it was a concept that was not truly achievable. So like I said in the last few sessions, with lockdown, COVID-19, look for the silver linings. There are so many silver linings. Don't keep looking at, I come across many who just tells me it's a lockdown situation, we can't do business. Nonsense. Energic performance, which has doubled, is proof that you should be looking at silver linings and how to overcome those. Those who only look at problems will not get there. Only those who look at solutions will get there. Okay. So, any questions about this? I mean, are we getting value from this perspective today? That you are now truly transitioning almost instantly within a few weeks, few months, from a regional market to a global market, which you can effectively implement. Some response would be good. Tell me if you are clear about this, or you have certain questions you'd like to clarify on.
It's okay.
Yeah?
So it's always better for us to start a Zoom session like we are already doing it, but with not that intensity. I think that's our belief system that, personally when we meet, then only we can close the same. We have to come out of that belief system and more focus and doing a lot of Zoom presentation.
Yes.
I think that's one thing we have to add. So.
I frequently end up with, many or some people getting discouraged because they are facing obstacles. They'll tell me this is not happening, that is not happening. One of the few things to remember, there is a skill set module where we say the fortune is in the follow-up. And follow-up does not mean trying to call the clients or the prospects once or twice. Statistically, it is shown that you need to follow up 6 to 7 times on average to close a prospect. That is a fact. You can't go against what are facts. You need an average. Certain clients you close in 1 or 2 follow-ups, but the average is 6 to 7 times. 6 or 7 times, because certain ones you may have to follow up 10 times before you close them. But the average is 6 to 7 times. And you cannot deny that fact that this is the case. So for some, you are able to close them within 1, 2 or 3 follow-ups. For some, you have to follow up 8, 9 or 10 times. But the average number is 6 to 7 times before you close them. So unless and until you have actually followed up 6, 7 times with a prospect and you give up, then you are losing all the groundwork, because somebody else will come along next and close them based on your foundation of effort. Okay? So frequently I get people telling me, you know why statistically it is 6 to 7 times on average? Anybody can give me a reason why? Type in your answer. Can you give me, or on your microphone and talk to me, and talk to us. Why do you think it takes 6 to 7 times on average to close a prospect?
From unconscious incompetence to conscious competence, or unconscious competence.
So you are giving them this, you are telling them the same meaning, right? You're telling us the same thing. Why does it take 6, 7 times to close them? Because every time you see them, you're basically telling them the same information. What is the reason?
Give the comfort level to the client. Once we meet him for 1, 2 or thrice time, maybe 2, 6 or 7 times. This creates a relationship between the client and us, and builds up the confidence between two people.
That is also true. Sometimes is building rapport.
And Dr. Phil, maybe repetition helps in affecting the unconscious mind, subconscious mind as well.
That is true. Repetition has the ability to change mindsets, to improve mindsets. That is also true. What other reasons could there be? Why you need 6, 7 times on average to close the prospect?
Shall I?
Yes, Sunita, please.
They might be having some block in their mind, so they will open up at that exposure.
Okay. Let me give you 2 words to consider. One is perspective, and the other is eureka. Does
Eureka
everybody
moment.
understand these 2 words?
Eureka moment, the
Yes.
clicking moment.
And what is the meaning of eureka moment is this?
You got to ask Archimedes.
Listen, sometimes when you try to talk to a friend and explain something, and the guy looks at you blankly, because he didn't get it, and then you try a different approach, and he still looks at you with a blank, and you try a different approach, a different analogy, a different correlation, a different way of telling them, and suddenly they say, I get it. What's that tell you? Is that you can be telling the same information,
Differently.
but you are sharing it with a different perspective. So it is like tuning a radio, tuning a television set. You keep turning the dial until you hit the right frequency and you get to see something. You get visual. You get the visual channel that you want. In the same way, when you follow up with a prospect, okay, you are giving them one channel to see whether they connect. And when they don't get the idea with that channel, you tune to another channel, give them a different perspective. And you keep doing that until they get the eureka moment and say, I see. And until you make them see, you cannot close them. In the same way that I keep saying to you guys over and over again, it is not what you tell them, but how they understand you that matters. And this is what it means. The follow-up takes 6 to 7 times, up to 10 times, because you keep testing the frequency and see whether they are matching the frequency you are giving them. And until you match that frequency, they will not see the picture. This is a very important point that I need you guys to understand very, very clearly. As you can see, I'm now articulating between different skill set modules of Kangen Express training. I'm talking about follow-ups. Okay. I'm talking about perspectives. I'm talking about different aspects of Kangen Express module. I'm now showing you how you can articulate to better understand how to integrate all the different modules together. Sunita, you put there no means what? You still do not understand this? Or was that the previous question?
Yeah, it was very previous one.
Okay. So, are we clear about this particular point? Why you need to follow up 6 to 10 times to hit the right frequency so you can close them, because they are all at different frequencies. Every client, every prospect runs at a different channel, different frequency, and you do not know what the frequency. You don't have a frequency tester. Your only frequency tester is to try it and then see if you see a picture. So if you turn the dial and you don't get a picture, what do? You give up? Or you turn to another frequency and see whether you get a picture. A lot of people tries one frequency, turn the dial a second time and they give up. I am sure that you do not do that with your television set or your radio set. You will turn a frequency.
Dr. Phil, can I share one thing?
Yes?
Actually, sometimes I've put lot many efforts on people with showing them lot many perspectives. But actually that has maybe slowed down my speed in connecting to more people. Like I think I sometimes feel I've invested a lot more time on limited amount of people rather than connecting to much more people with limited effort. So that has been maybe what I feel is that is the reason I have not connected to so many people as compared to what I would have done. I've got into completely putting lot of efforts on a single person.
Okay. Yeah, so what you're saying is that you tend to look at only targeted prospects.
Yeah, I am looking out for leaders. Maybe that is why
And Gaurav, targeted prospects is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Because look on the bright side. You have a targeted prospect that you're trying to tune the frequency so that they get it. Okay? Now let me give you another angle. Listen carefully to this. I said that follow-ups is testing different frequencies so that you get the right frequency. Okay? Nowadays you have a radio in your car and you press a button and it starts scanning for the right for frequencies that work. True or not?
Yeah.
So you press a button and it starts scanning for frequencies that work. What is the equivalent of that? The equivalent of that is implementing Kangen Express system. When you implement Kangen Express system, it's the equivalent of pressing a button to scan for the right frequencies. Frequencies that work. You are not guaranteed to get the right frequency, but you have a lot more opportunities to get the right frequencies with Kangen Express. Sunita, you look a bit blurred. Are you you okay with
I was listening.
listening? Okay. And David, you also look a bit blur. 11 hours from us. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself. Oh, what happened to him? Oh, we lost his video. Yes, David.
Yeah, I'm coming.
We lost your video. No, we can't see. We can't even see your blurred face anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it back.
Okay. Rajiv, are you there, Rajiv?
Yes, sir. I'm very well. I'm here, sir.
Okay. So, what is your thinking about what I've just shared? That the auto scanner on your radio to get the right frequency is the equivalent of Kangen Express. You maximize. It doesn't guarantee you getting a channel, but it maximizes and expedite your chance of getting the right channel.
Yes, sir. Very true. The tool is fantastic. With the implementation of KBSX, we can do wonders, sir.
Okay.
And we are already doing it, sir. We are doing it.
Okay. So, David, we're happy to get your face back.
Thank you.
Okay. So, are you getting what we are talking about?
Yes. Very well. Understand very well.
Okay. So, Enagic used to send machines from Australia to New Zealand. But they have now since set up a company in New Zealand and set up a warehouse in New Zealand. So that machines are coming from New Zealand itself. Which means that there is virtually no waiting time. Not like before. So you can see that Enagic is moving towards setting up an office in Auckland. You have to be prepared for that.
Yes, thank you. I know.
Okay. So make use of this facility that Enagic is providing in New Zealand, that they've gone from shipping machines from Sydney to Auckland to now having a warehouse in Auckland where machines are released directly from Auckland itself. So from filing and receiving the machine should not take more than 2-3 days. Okay.
Okay.
This is a vast improvement, and you should take opportunity for this logistic convenience. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Dr. Phil, can I ask a bit of weird question, but
Yes.
maybe something like actually on the world map, which country do you find that for them this cost of the machine is the most lowest? Means as in according to their purchasing power, which country has the most easy? They have their potential to bear this cost easily, much more easily.
Actually, the answer was very obvious. If you look into the history of Enagic, that Mr. Oshiro first major objective was to make sure that the US market moves.
I was exactly having that in my mind. Yes, you're right.
Before India came along, US dominates in terms of monthly performance.
Yeah.
It was briefly overtaken by Malaysia at one time when Malaysia hit 3,000-4,000 units a month. It was briefly overtaken by Indonesia when also the volumes hit 3,000-4,000. Okay, but those numbers have dropped in Malaysia, Indonesia. Considering that it is not surprising because the population of Malaysia, for example, is a tiny amount. It's even smaller than just Mumbai. But the US market has consistently been showing performance. Okay, and the reasons can be that it's not the cheapest price. It's not the lowest price in the world. No.
No, means I meant to say that the people have that much purchasing power that this is the most easiest for them.
And it is not about purchasing power either. In the US, one of the advantage of doing business in the US for Kangen is that the EMI or the installment plans are so easy.
Okay.
You know, in India, you literally have to pay 55% upfront, and that on a e-payment, and it's not available on the K8 machine as well. Now, can anybody tell me what are the other EMI programs in India? What are the installment plans available in India?
Dr. Phil, I don't know about India. India, we don't have any of installment plans except for I think other machines. But that is all guaranteed by uplines 6A and all. They got to guarantee that EMI plan, so which is not worthwhile. But yes, I know because about Germany, Paris, and we have done a lot of sales there now. So
Okay.
yeah,
So-
they have a better plan. Yeah,
You
UK,
will find
UK as
that
well. Yeah.
in India, the only EMI is an e-payment where the uplines have to guarantee it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And on top of that, there is upfront payment of around 55%. In the United States, you find that there is no requirement for upline to guarantee payment, which makes it very easy to do. And on top of that, there is no large upfront payment. The only upfront payment in United States is you pay the first month in advance, plus a courier charge, and plus a small administrative fee. So typically, if your monthly installment is, let's say, $300, you might have to pay $100 for courier charge. You might have to pay another administrative fee of $100. So effectively, you're paying like $500 as the first payment, and subsequently you pay $300 every month, which is very easy to do. Anybody can afford to do that. And for that matter, David, in New Zealand, it is the same thing. There is no large or there is no huge upfront payment. Okay, so for a K8 in New Zealand, you only pay the first month plus the courier charge and plus administrative fee, and that can be roughly about, let's say, $1,000 out of 7,000 New Zealand dollars for K8.
David, I'm coming to your place.
Yeah.
No problem. You're welcome.
And Gaurav, you don't have to fly to New Zealand, remember.
Yes, yeah. Now it is an online thing. Yeah.
Yeah. You have Zoom to give your access to a global market.
Yeah, I was just kidding. I was just kidding with David.
Yes. So, I hope you are getting the kind of value with the perspective I'm sharing with you today. That you can see, even without the easy payment systems in India, volumes have doubled. Now, what you guys need to think about is, what else can you do? So, in order to just keep up with the trend in India, you need to double your sales in order to just keep up. You're not actually even improving. So if your whole team is doing 30 sales a month, and now you're not doing 60 and above, you are actually being left behind. Think about that. So Ajay, are you there, Ajay? Rajiv, are you there?
Yes, sir. Very much. I'm here.
If your team is doing 30 units a month every month before, and since lockdown, if you're not doing twice the amount, 60 units a month, you're already left behind. You're already lagging behind, not left behind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Agreed.
And the same thing, Ajay, you need to look into your teams. If your teams were previously doing 30 units a month, and now you're still doing 30 units, but you actually dropped to half the volume because Indian volumes have doubled.
We have tripled, in fact, as compared to before COVID.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it this way. If you have tripled, then you have improved.
Yes.
If you have doubled, you have not improved. You've just maintained status quo actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically it is, one factor may be COVID, but there are other varied factors, of course, one is the skill set training, one is the support from the team and what sort of a team you have, and that is also a very important factor to play,
Okay.
in all these
So I've given 3 very important perspectives this morning to everyone. Okay. It's taken 15 minutes out of our 60 minutes. We've got 10 minutes to go. And I would like to get some feedback as to, with the remaining time, how you would like the next sessions to move forward. This sharing a perspective is good for you, or you would like something? Are there any requests for any specific training? So this is a question to everybody in the audience today as to whether you have any.
I think, Dr. Phil, I think this is my suggestion. I don't know how it goes with others. I think it would be better if we have a question and answer session with you. There's a disturbance in the background. There's somebody? Yeah. There's some disturbance in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Carry
what I'm saying is, all those participants who are there, they have their day-to-day, difficulties with certain things. It is different for everybody in conducting their businesses, maybe in any aspect of the business. So we can have a Q&A session wherein one session maybe out of all these in a month, wherein you can give them a better way of going ahead with solutions.
Okay, basically, Ajay,
Yeah.
our Super Tuesday sessions like today
Okay.
is the right platform
Yes.
for you to have your Q&A.
Yes, that's better. Yeah. So people should come up with their questions and answers rather than just being fence sitters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the idea of our Super Tuesday sessions is an opportunity for everybody. There are no slideshows generally.
Yes.
And it is there to give an opportunity for everybody to bring out their questions, to bring out these nagging issues that needs to be resolved, in their minds.
Yes, and wherein you can give an expertise opinion or solution to it, and they can work it out in the next coming week and come back again and say what was the result.
Right. So, for the next 10 minutes, I would like anybody to have questions, to raise their questions. You have an opportunity now.
I
Raise
have
your questions. Yes, Sunita.
I don't know whether I overheard. There is any upfront payment in India and then make the payment later, like that in the scheme?
No, Sunita, we don't have that sort of thing.
I heard from Dr. Phil telling it's 50%, 55% upfront, something like that.
That is called an e-payment,
No.
where
Only for e-payment. Okay. EMI. Okay.
it's an e-payment, EMI, but you need to pay approximately 55% upfront. And on top of that, you need to have guarantors, Your 6A leader needs to be your guarantor.
So that is not practical.
Not in India.
Yeah, that's not
Yes.
practical, so we don't use that. Yeah.
I have never, in all my years of doing Kangen business, I have never taken on an e-payment for any of them. I don't subscribe to the e-payment method.
Two things. One is this, Dr. Philip, and the second is the Tokuro thing.
Yes. The Tokurai program very seldom becomes successful
Yes.
because there is a very little vested interest. When they are on a Tokurai, very frequently, 90% do not have a vested interest, and they do not make a serious effort to be successful. So, there are the very small percentage, the all cases, where it does happen.
And
I'm the lucky one, sir, in that case.
And yeah, purely the small percentage of lucky ones, yes. But there is
and
very few that actually become successful.
and the final part is, Dr. Phil, that these tokuris, if they are added upon more and more, they become a restriction. They become a restriction for the leaders to become a 6A or maybe a higher rank. There's a limitation to it.
That is correct. There is a restriction on the number of tokure under your team when you step up to a 6A, and that can become a problem at the last minute.
Yes.
Okay. I see that Rajiv Ji has requested for Kangen Express once a month. Okay, as I said in my previous in our previous session, that I am prepared to do that, but I would like leaders here to host the event. Now, if you want me to do this, Kangen Express, I am prepared to do this again this coming Saturday.
We were waiting, Dr. Phil, last time, but none of the leaders turned up, right?
So I would like somebody here to volunteer to host this Saturday's Kangen Express session. If there is a volunteer to host this Saturday, I'm prepared to be a speaker to do that. But I would not like to be the only speaker every time to do Kangen Express, because I would like the leaders here to take the leading role. I can play a supporting role.
Yeah, I think let's start from the top. The 6A leaders to start with.
Well, Rajiv, I think that falls on you. Okay means what? You will. Okay. When will you send the invitation?
Sir, tomorrow. Today I'll get a proofreading from you, and then tomorrow we can.
Okay. So it is said then that this coming Saturday, Rajiv Ji will be hosting the Kangen Express session. I will forward the link in the KBSX group so that you all can participate. Okay. Now remember that a key factor in Kangen business is about duplication. Okay. So as I said, I would not like to be repeating myself each time, but I would like leaders to be able to duplicate what I do in Kangen Express. Okay, I will let Rajiv Ji take the initiative to come up with ideas about how we can ease the my presentation into a duplication process for all the leaders here. My wish is that on every Saturday, somebody would volunteer and take on the presentation role. We won't be able to do it immediately, but it is my wish that all the leaders here can take on that role of presenting Kangen Express in the same way that I've always done. Okay? So, any other questions? We have a few minutes left before our 1 hour is up. I'm usually more strict with the session on Super Tuesday, keep it brief to 1 hour. But the Saturday sessions will need to be longer because those are training modules. Okay, not just a forum. So, any other questions?
Yeah, if nobody is asking, then I'll ask one last question.
Okay.
Generally, there have been cases wherein people have agreed and then they've said that they both of the things, the plan and the business plan and the product is really very good. In fact, they were even decided how much to earn in how much months and all. Everything is done, and they're almost there. But when we wait for the next meeting, they just don't turn up for the final meeting when we feel to close. There have been some cases like this where people have been very excited, but
yes,
yeah,
there is a danger that you leave your prospects, follow up, the next follow up, you left it too long.
I think I connected with him just within 48 hours, and then he gave a time within 3 days. Then again he just said that I've got a meeting. Then again next day. I kept on following what time is. Yeah, so it is like that.
This is what happens when sometimes the second follow-up there is a genuine case where they were unable to make it for that particular follow-up meeting. And there lies the danger that as the follow-up meetings get postponed, you heard of the phrase, strike while the iron is hot. It is very important to do that. So if the follow-up takes the next follow-up takes more than 48 hours, I would suggest that you find a way. The common case is that we try to take it easy and not rush it, but that is a mistake. You need to follow up while the iron is hot. So if they are unable to make it within the 3 days, make it earlier rather than make it later.
Actually, they themselves give a time of after 3 days, and then when you turn up that 3 day, they take it to 1 week, 10 days, and now you just keep waiting for their answer. That went to me.
This is what I mean by it's taken too long.
Yeah, I followed up the second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, 2-3 times after the decided meeting. But still, when I thought that it would be too pushy, I then stopped and I just slowly messaged him few things and all and shared something like that. That is what I'm doing.
Right. Remember that people buy with emotions. People do not buy with logic. And part of this reason could be that you are looking at a purchase option. If you are looking at a Kangen Express option, the iron stays hot for longer periods of time. Share with them the business opportunities so that the iron does not become cold so quickly.
In fact, he agreed to give 7 to 8 hours per day if he in the business. But so he was so excited, and then suddenly, what happened?
Yeah. You do not want them to commit to 7-8 hours per day. Stick.
Yeah, he himself told that.
No, tell them, look, I don't want you to spend 7-8 hours a day. Stick to 2 hours per day. Stick to the Kangen Express system. Do not change from that. Because they have to work 7 to 8 hours per day on this business. They are losing. The perspective of doing Kangen business is part-time. 2 hours per day. But every day. Not if they promise you 7-8 hours, they will do it for 3 days. After that, they will stop. So look into keeping to the Kangen Express system. 2 hours per day, but consistently every day. It's like somebody going to the gym and they say, I will work out intensively 7-8 hours per day. They will only do for 3 days and stop. They will not do it every day. Gaurav, are you there?
Yeah, sir. So what is your suggestion now on handling
My
this?
suggestion is if they start telling you they're going to do 7-8 hours per day, tell them don't. Start with 2 hours.
No, about this, Dr. Phil. Like some people, many people like this who are very excited and they themselves are telling you that I would want to earn like this, I would work to like this much, and everything is done. And when we fix up the next meeting, that does not happen. So we are after them for having a meeting and
So
what?
There is clearly something that has really made the iron not hot, and I would seek the perspective of our Rajiv Ji here. Rajiv, do you have a perspective to share on this situation? What do you think? What do you think happened there?
Sir, maybe from our Google University, he must have gone somewhere. So many things can happen, sir. So we have to be little patient. The whole situation. Go with the new energy and Sometimes I do it like this. After 6 months, once again I approach them and they'll say, no, I know. So I said that time I was new. I didn't know so much.
Okay.
So now I think I may be in a better position to educate you. So they said, no, I know. So I say, once again, you listen to me. If not, another 6 months later, I'll talk to you. But they get clear. Anyway, he's not going to leave us.
This one thing I have seen. Yeah, this one thing I have seen with Rajiv ji. Rajiv ji is very persistent, and that is why I have followed. I have understood about Rajiv ji. He is very persistent about the with the client. So he is just bang on. So he feels, leave me, I'll do it right away, rather than coming again.
I've learned from Dr. Phil. He is very patient. Because I remember one of my client on 17th of May 2017, he met with Dr. Phil and I closed him on 19th of November 2019. Yes, Mr. Phil.
Yeah, you shared.
2.5 years later.
Yes, sir, 2.5 years later. Jan, sir, Mr. Jan.
Yes, I remember Jan.
Yes, sir. So, but I never given up. We have visited several times to Lucknow, to his place, and very peacefully we have a drink and everything, and we come back, no problem, no force. So whenever we decide, but that is not the very ideal situation. But
So I am keeping patience with him. It's been 7 to 10 days. I've shared one few different messages to him and something related to that. So Dr. Phil says I should just keep on like this. You cannot figure out people like this, like what they are up to actually.
Sorry, Gaur, I think we have to remember what Dr. Phil, the moment that frequency matches, no, the deal will lift. So you have to keep on trying with that frequency, that what he suggested. This is a law, 6 to 7 times, but it may take some time, 12 to 20 also. That's not a problem. But you are very expert in NLP, so in a mind you know that I have to close him. That's all. And many times it's very good. Suppose you introduce somebody to Enagic and after 2 years he decides to go, so he'll definitely give you a call before he finalizes. Gaurav, still you are doing Enagic? Yes, I am doing. Why don't you come once again? So that is the case. So it's always better to introduce.
So what you mean to say is I should once have introduced the system to him, now I should be just patiently waiting for him to come and by the time...
Keep on following at your pace.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Dedicated and without getting disturbed, that he's not disturbing me and this and that. That's not a thing. Okay, fine.
Yeah, that is what I'm doing.
He will take his own course, and the moment this is the right time. But I feel this is the right time. Everyone is scared of his life. So this time you can put that you have a solution, but still you are wondering with the problem that is not very good. So like that, can whatever means. See, business is like a dynamic procedure. Whatever suits you, like Jeevan Sahadevan said, you keep on trying. Whatever suits you, that is your way of style. There's nothing to, sometimes something can work on me, but not for you.
So there is no fixed way. There is no fixed way of
principles are very important. Principles cannot change, but minute detailings can always be adjusted according to place and circumstances, whatever.
No, you don't have to change your radio. You just need to turn the dial to different frequencies.
Yes.
That is what I've been doing. Let's see.
Principle cannot be changed. The only thing, minute detailings, whether to call in a morning time or evening, that cannot be told. It is you have to decide whether if he's a office goer, you know when to call. So that is small detailings are there.
Yeah. So like the main thing is the main border structure we have got. I think then I'm following it the same way.
Frequency. What Dr. Phil has told, it's a frequency which you have to match. And when the frequency gets matched, no one can stop you from this deal. It is done. So this is what. So nothing important. So
thank you, Rajiv ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So remember, no need to change your radio. Just turn the dial for different frequencies.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what I've been doing. Let's see when it takes course. Like when he gets to the frequency.
Right. Well, it's good to see that everybody has found today's session to be useful.